Eagles, welcome back to the show. I would say happy day today because I actually couldn't remember for like 10, 15 minutes in a row. But we're going to say again, happy Tuesday. Welcome back to the show. It is the 16th and people are excited, but some people are not because the Eagles played absolutely terrible against the Bucs and the Steelers played pretty bad at first also against the Bills. We're going to dive into that today. We're going to talk about a lot with the playoffs, people's first road games. I just heard this for the first time before we came on with the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes has never played a road game. He's going against the Bills. Before we go into all that and all the craziness, we're going to bring our co-host to the show, the guy we love, the guy who's a face radio, below average weight guy, my friend, my pal. Let's bring him on the show right now, Brent Chapman.
There we go.
What a freaking day, man.
Rolling. And we are going to roll it back this morning because it's Monday. It's Buffalo Monday. All right. We got
I don't know why they call it Buffalo Monday after the game. I think they should call it Buffalo Monday.
They call it Victory Monday. I call it Buffalo Monday. So
all right, well,
here we are. We won, Brandon. We won.
You got what you wanted. You got what you wanted, Brent. And the Bills played well. The Steelers played poor at first, tried to battle back. And then the Eagles played terrible. And people that are watching this right now, especially if you're an Eagles fan, you're pissed off. Similar to the Cowboys, the NFC East has been miserable. And the Eagles lost 5 of their last 6 heading into that game. And then the Bucs won 5 of the last 6 heading into the game, Brent. So it was watching the game on the couch, putting it on is like, what are we watching? The only game that was good was Lions-Rams.
The whole time you must have been thinking, well, Brent was right again. Because
and I will tell you this.
We had who's going to win at the end of the show yesterday. You remember that?
Yeah, but here's the thing.
The Eagles, they're going to turn it around. No, they're not. They're toasted.
They played really bad, but here's the thing. I legit, if I had to bet my money, like yesterday, put $1,000 on the line, put $10,000 on the line, I wouldn't bet on the Eagles at all. But watching how they played the last several weeks, how bad they played, in my mind, I'm like, listen, Jalen Hurts has to turn it on this week. And as I'm watching all the playoff games, the Dallas Cowboys get demolished to start. The Eagles get demolished. The Rams and the Lions were a great game. The Steelers, the Bills showed up in town like we talk about. So before we go into that and talk about the Eagles and pull the clips up and the videos and all that, Brett, do you think that there was any game worth watching, like outside of Lions-Rams? It was like embarrassment. Everywhere you saw was embarrassment.
Every playoff game was worth watching for a couple of reasons. One, because they didn't go the way we expected. Everyone thought Cleveland was going to smash Houston. Oops. Everyone thought that there was going to be, that Philly might turn it around. Oops. Right? Here's the best part. Here's my favorite stat of the whole first 3 days of the playoffs. Every home team won their game except for one.
Yep.
The Dallas Cowboys.
Brett.
You don't think that was entertaining for people to watch? People love watching Dallas get beat.
Yeah, listen, the NFC East is in shambles, and I'm just saying, watching the Eagles, let's just get right into it. Baker Mayfield played well, and the Eagles played like trash.
Didn't I tell you that Baker Mayfield was going to roll in there and deliver a victory for Tampa? Here he is. There he is. Champ, bro.
Listen, Baker Mayfield, I'll tell you this too. Watching this game, Brent, Baker Mayfield played well, but it would have been even a lot better. He had so many receivers drop passes.
Yep, that's right.
So many incompletions that should have been caught. And it's sad because the first half could have been even more of a blowout. And the Eagles hung in there. They stayed in there. It was a playoff game, so the defense came up with certain plays. But, Brent, to attest to what we've been saying and I've been saying and complaining about, I got to tell you, I think it's worse than what I was saying. I've been saying he's got no emotion. I think Jalen Hurts has checked out. I mean, literally, there's nothing. There's nothing. There's no spark. There's no energy. There's no speed.
I thought
there's
of you,
nothing.
Brandon, I thought of you last night. There's a clip of Dallas Goedert, their tight end, yelling at him, and him just sitting there, blank face, with no reaction or anything. And Dallas Goedert, I really thought of you because I could totally see what he was saying. He basically went like this. He just said, "Whatever, dude," and walked away. Like, it's exactly what you've been saying. If you're not even going to respond to me and respond to what's going on, dude, like they're done with him, dude. I thought you were over.
It's sad.
I thought
it's
you
sad
were
because
over.
the coach is a problem. Like right now, it's like, okay, the coaching, the defense didn't play that good. Jalen Hurts didn't play that good. Maybe the scheme wasn't that good. But like I've been saying, if you turn toward your leader, you know, the leader of your team, the leader of your household, the leader of your company, the leader of anything, they got to get up, face the music, whether they win or lose, and they get up and they're congratulating people and they're excited, or they lose. They say, listen, we made this mistake, we're going to fix it, and this is what we're going to do, and yada, yada, yada. You don't get that. When he gets on the field, it's just putts around. It's that same little trot onto the field, whether it's a touchdown or it's an interception. And I hate to say it like this because I like Jalen Hurts as a person. But instead of being the baller, the guy who's going for the win, the guy who's crazy for football, he's like Steve Harvey. And when I say that, got his little cool haircut. I love Steve Harvey, by the way. I'm just saying. He just got this little cool haircut. He's checked out of his 30s, checked out of his 40s. He's like Steve Harvey. He's walking around. He's just like, got it done. I'm just enjoying life. He's not playing like a football player. Baker Mayfield, win, lose, draw, injury, whatever, is playing like a football player, and that's why you saw other teams come out and win. Josh Allen, I got clips of this too. I'm going to pull this up, and this didn't work out either, Brent. The tush push didn't work out either. No power, no strength. The Eagles couldn't score. It's a playoff game. If you're not going to at least get in the end zone here and give your fans, your organization some hope, you're not going to win. And teammates, players, obviously, coaching staff, some of those people will not be there going into next season.
Do you remember that Nick Saban pulled Jalen Hurts from the national championship game?
Yep.
And Tua Tagovailoa came in and won them the championship.
Yep.
Is it starting to make sense now?
Should have happened last night. Unfortunately, it should have happened last night.
Is it starting to click why maybe Saban did that? Like, well, after all these years, I mean, look, Nick Saban, one of the greatest coaches ever, he didn't just pull his quarterback in the middle of the national championship game because he needed a spark. He pulled him because he knew he didn't have the intensity to lead his team back. That's why he did it. And we're seeing that now. And you've been calling, you know, I didn't put much credit in everything you've been saying over the last few weeks, Brandon, but I hate to say it, but after Dallas Goedert's reaction to him last night and what happened in that game, I think you're right. I just don't think he's a leader. He's just not leading his team and willing his team to victory.
But he's checked out. It's not.
No,
like,
that's my
I know
point.
That he can be a leader.
Do you look at Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes? Do you think they would have done that? My gosh, Josh Allen just puts the whole team on his back and blows.
Listen, Brent, I got clips of that too. But you know. And I want to take a little time and right now and have a little more conversation on the Eagles because, and we'll get into Josh Allen, it's really important. But what's bothersome is the Eagles, yeah, they have some injuries. You know, A.J. Brown, they have some players that are in the game. Like every other football team has injuries across the board here and there. They, you know, look at the Dolphins, they had injuries. You know, the Tua's playing, he's injured, but he's out there playing, he's doing his best. And Tua's hurt, can't really run the ball because of concussions and problems. Football is football. I get it. But like we've been talking about right now, Jalen Hurts, and this topic, instead of putting Eagles up there, it really should have said Jalen Hurts. Because during that game, and the announcers were saying this too, was a resemblance of the last several games he's lost. It wasn't just, okay, we're going to the playoffs, and I thought I was wrong. I thought that he was going to come out and be like, it's time to play. It's the playoffs. It's do or die. If I lost the last couple games, doesn't matter. I'm in the playoffs. But they played really bad. a lot of them had emotion. Jason Kelce is done now. He's retiring. He's not playing anymore. He's walking away from football. A lot of that, I will tell you, is because this man's turning out at his quarterback going, bro, we're in this together. He doesn't have that combination, like you said, with Patrick Mahomes, or the combination with Josh Allen, which we're going to get to right now, and compare those two quarterbacks. Because you said he puts it on his back, on his shoulders, Brent.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
I'm going to move forward to Josh Allen, but while we're talking about Josh Allen and showing some clips, I want you to really explain to the people watching, like, really the difference of what Josh Allen as a quarterback and a leader is compared to what you see in Jalen Hurts. And I have a clip to watch here as he's running.
Yeah, dude, like, look at this. And so this is amazing, right? So this guy just put the team on his back, and no matter what, he was going to lead that team to victory and win that game. And I think that's the difference between what you see in Jalen Hurts and what you see in Josh Allen. But it's not, yeah, he's an aggressive player. He makes mistakes. And by the way, look at that scene, snowballs in the air. It's freaking awesome. But he is just the guy that's never going to quit, right? And is going to pull his team to victory. And we saw that last night. Let me tell you a little bit about this game, Brandon. The Bills going into this game were without 3 defensive starters. All right. That's bad, right? That's not great, right? They lost 4 more defensive starters during the game. They were so depleted, they had Damar Hamlin on the field, right?
Yeah.
He died. He died and rose from the dead, and they had him playing. They had a guy that was literally on vacation driving down to Florida with his family, and the Bills called him on Thursday and said, we need you for the game on Sunday or Monday. And
we need you to come back and be suited up.
Yeah, and he played like the majority of the game, AJ Klein linebacker. Like they were hurting, but look, this is the team. And last thing I'll say, and then I'll let you kind of lead this where you want it to go, because I got a lot more to say on this game. But I saw the after, like in the locker room after, and the speeches, McDermott gives his speech, and then Allen breaks him out. Allen is the leader of that team, right? They foul him. And he said, and he was just complimenting this guy, got off vacation to come help us. This guy, they told him he was a first-round bust, and he had an interception that got us points, right? This guy did this, and we're a team, and we're going to keep doing this. And he's a leader. I don't think in a million years you would see Jalen Hurts doing that. That's just not his personality. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you're in the trenches, this is what the teams need. They need a Josh Allen or a Patrick Mahomes leading them, right? That's what these guys want.
They're in the NFL, Brent, right? And this is what people don't, I know they understand, but people that have played football for a long time, they've been around the game for a long time, you see talent like Josh Allen and talent like Patrick Mahomes and talent like, Tom Brady, very, very, very rare, seldomly. But the fact of the matter is, the people that's like, the level of elite competition and gameplay and talent, there is a separation, especially amongst the receivers. The speed, the ability to jump and grab the ball, you see it. But in the quarterback position, it's not so much the athletic ability. It's really the ability to be a leader. When people rally behind you, like we'll get to in a second, rally behind Brock Purdy, rally behind Jordan Love, rally behind your quarterback because they depend on you. Even Mason Rudolph coming in, it wasn't because Mason Rudolph's the greatest. They played much better. They really wanted, to play for their quarterback, their leader, their coaching staff. The Eagles, and the reason why we're talking about that still is because I want to compare Jalen Hurts to Josh Allen. And when I see it, I've seen Jalen Hurts be a leader in college. I've seen him be excited when he ran the ball and scored. But I think he took the professional stance of the game and wanted to be like, I'm a dad out. Like almost like, I just want to be a leader and coach. Like I want to go right from me to Tom Brady. But I think he forgot how much of a leader Tom Brady is on the field. When he's pointing at you and in your face, it's not because he's downing you or mad at you or pissed you. He's like, I know you got it. I know you can ball. Let's ball right now. Turn it on. And Jalen Hurts doesn't do that.
Peyton Manning used to call those guys out on the sideline and scream at them. He was holding everyone accountable. That was what Peyton Manning was known for. Tom Brady was a little bit more mild mannered. Like I've talked to guys who worked with both, and that they would say the difference in personalities were different and how they conducted themselves. But at the end of the day, they demanded the same level of perfection out of their teammates. They just handled it differently. This, Brandon, I want to talk about, can you show that video again of Josh Allen sliding or not sliding? I think Josh Allen might have cracked another code. First, you had the Wildcat, then you had the tush push. Now you have this. Watch this. He fakes the dive. He fakes the slide. The linebacker pulls up so he doesn't get a penalty, and he just blows right through him and scores a touchdown, right? Now, later in the game, he goes to slide again, and this time the linebacker doesn't bite on it, and he hits him, and it's a 15-yard penalty.
I think the refs think they missed something in the first one, and they tried to correct it with the second one. Ironically, this was like Kenny Pickett, and they're playing the Steelers, and Kenny Pickett was the quarterback that did that in college, where he did the fake slide. They called it a touchdown. Right after that, they said, okay, that's no more. That won't happen again. And I think the refs just – but listen,
Josh didn't
it wasn't
actually –
really a fake – he didn't really slide. He didn't –
No,
Kenny
he
Pickett
didn't
did
fake
way more
slide.
of a fake slide.
He shifted his hip like he was going to.
Right.
And then kept running. It's kind of like, instead of like a pump fake like this, like a full pump fake, it was kind of like that type of pump fake,
Well,
right?
I think
It was
he
a very
realized,
jerky.
he's like, I'm going to slide. But the warrior in him, unlike Jalen Hurts, if you're watching the chat right now, I want to know, did Jalen Hurts quit for the Eagles? Did he just quit on them? Not quit and leave the organization, but did he just quit on them?
Keep in mind, Josh Allen is the guy that's running down the field and pump faking 5 yards past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Like, he will
And they're
do
falling for
anything. He will do, yeah, because guess what? They juke. And he saw, and he just shifted his hip just a bit, and the guy slowed up, and he went right through him. And then the guy the next time didn't, and he got a penalty for it because he hit him when he dived.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
I don't think they should change the rule to prevent him from doing that. I think it's brilliant. He's using the rules. He's juking. He's diving. Like, why? This juke isn't allowed and this juke is allowed? No, it's a great play. The defender needs to be able to decide and read that and control his body and get to it. He can break down.
Because of that,
Anyone?
this is what happened after the game.
I love it.
And they're like, so you have 1 year left on your contract. What do you think is going to happen? Instead of answering
Anyone?
I'm going to just walk off. Because he knows that, listen, everybody wants some answers.
Anyone?
No, I already know why he did that, because I've been telling you and Steelers fan this for 6 weeks since I've been on this show. It's real simple. He ain't going anywhere. He ain't retiring. He's not getting fired. It's stupid. It's not even worth addressing. So he just walked away.
And
Literally,
the Steelers came
dumb.
back. The Steelers did show some grit in that game. They did.
Yes.
I'm not saying that they were going to win, but
Tomlin
listen, they were
is
only
a
down by
great-
7 in the last quarter. They had some opportunities. They blew some things. I think the Bills played really well. And then instead of being, hey, we are a better team, they played down to their competition a little bit. Speaking of their competition, Brent, this is what has transpired through the year. Give your take on this. Kenny Pickett.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about the upcoming matchup that's going to be fantastic this coming weekend. No. What is this? I'm not going to be mean, but this is not impressive at all. Right? Although I will say Mitch Trubisky that Mason Rudolph definitely looked better than Mitch Trubisky. I mean, and he's a leader. You can see it. He's fired up. He's got his team going out there. They just weren't as good as Buffalo. But Mason Rudolph threw some good balls, led his team. He didn't play bad. They just weren't a better team.
What I will say, Brent, is Josh Allen. We can't forget this. The Steelers arguably played one of the best teams in the NFL again with the Bills. They arguably played against the best quarterback in the NFL. Arguably, they also played
should be
against,
the MVP
against and I won't say MVP, but I will say, because I like what Lamar Jackson's done. He's proven a lot. But I will say this, the season is still going on. And if you were to say through just the regular season, Josh Allen's stats were pretty damn good. But Lamar Jackson could be up in the running. I wouldn't mind if he got the award.
The MVP vote is over. They voted last Thursday. So they vote before the playoffs start. So the ballots were due at noon on Thursday last week. So the playoffs don't matter in any of the end of season rewards. And they do that because obviously, if a guy breaks out, it's not fair to guys that don't get to play, right? It's a regular season award. But I think that Josh Allen is going to have a real gripe when he beats Patrick Mahomes and he beats Lamar Jackson and they go to the Super Bowl and he's not the MVP and his stats definitely were deserving of it. But
Brent, real quick, I want to, because I think I want to say something. So when I watch the game and you see this clip real quick again where Tomlin walks off, right? And then the reason why I'm bringing this up again is because then you go, okay, they played the Bills. Kenny Pickett gets hurt. They bench Trubisky. They bring in Mason Rudolph, their third string quarterback. To play against the Bills, and the opening part of it showed that's exactly what should happen. Like the Steelers not playing that well this year, and they had a lot of change at the quarterback position, which is your leader. So imagine if the Bills had their third string quarterback playing, or Jalen Hurts was your starter and you were getting embarrassed. Imagine having your third string quarterback in the game, or Dak Prescott getting embarrassed, right, by the Packers, and not just embarrassed, your ass beat, down 27-0 in the first quarter or whatever, first half. Imagine if they had their third string quarterback in the game. So what I'm saying is this. This is not something that is great for this year. And I know next year they got a lot of decisions to make because Trubisky, he can't stay there. Mason Rudolph, this was a chance for him to put up his resume a little bit to go play somewhere eventually, which I'm not sure that happened either. So Kenny Pickett comes back. Who do they bring in to help? Tomlin, you think 100% is coming back. You've said that for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. I think he'll be back. But what I'm saying is there are some concerns and there are some questions. I'm not saying they're firing Tomlin, but I am saying you have to start looking around somewhere. And Antonio Bryant was there, Brown was there. It was like, what an amazing receiver, but then went off the deep end doing what he was doing. The Steelers since then have been like, we don't really have an identity. We don't have any identity. And they're not like the Chiefs where they have no identity and then they turn it on. The Steelers played bad. They're on down to their third quarterback. Next year, if Tomlin comes back, they got to do something. Draft a quarterback, bring in a veteran quarterback. We talked about Russell Wilson. Is there anybody else that you think off the top of your head that's not a draft pick, another quarterback that can possibly show up for the Steelers? Russell Wilson, is anybody else? I know we'll get to Justin Fields in a minute.
Yeah, I think what you would do is you would maybe try to trade for one. And I don't believe that Dak Prescott is going anywhere or is at risk. Like Jerry will sell his children before he gets rid of Dak Prescott. Right. But, an NFL prognosticator might say maybe you could get Dak Prescott in a trade at this point with 1 year left on his agreement. I don't know. I don't see that. But, there might be other guys like that out there where, teams would be willing to move on. But I think Tomlin comes back. I think they bring in a veteran to compete with Pickett. They won't draft a guy. And we'll see where it goes. But Mike Tomlin handled that how I would handle that. Look, guys, this is a dumb question. I'm coming back. I've got a year left on my contract. I've been here 15 freaking years. Give me a little respect. That question to me rings like booing Giannis.
But they've
right?
been
it
bad.
Is so tone deaf.
Yeah, but he's
such a dumb question.
They've played so bad. They've had quarterback.
Do you remember? Do you remember like the media for decades got away with asking dumb questions, and then Trump emerged and basically told them when it was a dumb question, right?
Yep.
And right, and now Tomlin didn't tell them it was a dumb question. He was more respectful than that, but he just
walked off.
He just walked away. But that was a dumb question, right?
So how do you feel? Speaking of we're talking about quarterbacks. I know we're moving on here. Packers beat the Cowboys. Now the 49ers and Brock Purdy, who've had that chance to relax a little bit, have a little bye. Are the Packers the real deal? And I think it's a little early to say, but are the Packers and Jordan Love? I mean, Aaron Dobbs, Aaron Jones, Jordan Love, they played really good. Coaching was great. They had the great fundamental skills. They called the right plays. Jordan Love threw really well. I mean, they looked like a really good football team. They didn't look like a team that has their quarterback that's first get a chance to start, but similar to the 49ers, Brock Purdy is only in his second year. So, he played more than Jordan Love played, but this is kind of the battle of the younger quarterbacks coming in, and this could be the future of what we see for these two teams. Literally, I mean, this could be the guys that we see down the road that are your Aaron Rodgers and your similar, and I don't want to compare them just yet, I'm just saying, to Joe Montana. Like, are these the future of these organizations, and what do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting, and I think this applies for the Texans versus Ravens matchup also. I mean, look, you're getting two young quarterbacks that performed very well in their first playoff games with two teams that have performed well late. What have we been saying for weeks, Brandon? It's not how you end the season like Philly and Jacksonville starting strong and ending weak. It's how you finish, like with Buffalo, like with Green Bay, like with Texans, right? Here's the thing that I want to ask you about, which I think is a real concern in this game. I have a lot of weird opinions on sports, right? For example, I think you should pretty much go for it on fourth down every time. I think you should go for two every time, right? In basketball, I don't think you should pay attention to fouls. There's a lot of things that, like, I view I think you should full court press every time, the whole game, right? And there's another one here that I don't think you should rest players. And here's why. Both the 49ers and Ravens rested players in week 18. Then they didn't play in the first round of the playoffs. That's 3 weeks of not playing football. Now they're going to come. They're both get to play against a team that is on fire, that has two young quarterbacks leading them, that are excited and motivated. And the team it's like, have you ever, Brandon, played pickup basketball and you step into a game where everyone's kind of been playing, you're a little cold, takes you a while to get warmed up, and they're kind of like just already flying all over the court?
Yep.
That is what is going to happen in these games. And so it's going to take the 49ers and the Ravens a little bit to get back into the and that could be too late. The Cowboys took a little bit to get into the game, and they were done. It was over before they decided to start playing.
I like what you just, listen, you hit on the head with that. You are spot on. I mean, with the exception of never resting players and not even thinking about that. I mean, some of this stuff I would argue against. I think there's full court press every play.
Yeah.
But I like what you said about this.
But yeah.
3 weeks off. Yes, injuries. Guys that are injured, very good. Guys that are not injured should have been rotating a little bit, getting some plays. Maybe it's third down and long, get in dime coverage, do your DB steps, try to work on pass deflections. Maybe you're not going crazy. Maybe you're not blitzing. I agree with you that 3 weeks not playing football versus a team that's on fire, I agree with you that's
been scratching and clawing for weeks to get in and fight and had to beat a 2 seed. Had to beat a good Browns team, right? Like these guys have been country club, man. They're Tony Romo going to the beach in the bye week.
But guys, what I don't know, and it's weird because the Packers, to me, 3-4 weeks ago, and I said I think Jordan Love is going to be great. But I didn't think the Packers were this good, and they are. I mean, they have every position is on fire. Their running back looked like a Super Bowl. He played strong. He didn't play against, maybe are the Cowboys that bad then? Because he didn't play against.
James Cook looked pretty good against the Cowboys too. So yeah, they're pretty weak on the run defense.
But even Jordan Love.
But even Aaron Jones is a good quarterback. Aaron
even
Jones
getting outside the pocket, throwing the ball. Dobbs woke up and said, it's playoff time. It's wild card time. I'm making plays, and he did. And everybody was on fire. So, yeah, they're not going to be on every time like that. But when you're playing against the 49ers, you better turn it on because Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel. I mean, they have some great players. The 49ers are a great team, well coached. This is going to be a really good game. For me, though, let's put some numbers here. What do you got? 49ers or Packers? What do you got? What's it look like for you, numbers-wise?
Oh, well, you got to let me get a little bit closer to the game, right? We still got
you still got a group. Who do you got winning?
I think I do believe in both of these games, and I think we're kind of talking about both topics together, which is fine. I think that the Packers and the Texans, my prediction is going to be similar, right? I think that both teams are going to come out and really try to set a tone early on that they're in the game and keep it close and fight. And so I think both games are going to be close. And it's going to be hard to say this, but I think one of them will win. I think one of these top seeds might get upset.
One upset.
I think there might be one upset. I think one of these teams might win. I think they're equally good.
So let's just say this for the sake of conversation. We're going to move on to Texas to Texas and the Ravens.
I mean, we're blending the topics.
Yeah, it's fine. But who Raven? Well, you'd pick right now. Not the point spread. Just 49ers, Packers. We'll get to the end of the week anyway. Who do you got right now?
Oh man, you got to say Niners, but we'll see.
Moving on, I got the Niners as well. I really like Jordan Love. I love what they did. I think the 49ers defense is going to play a lot harder, a lot better. They have great talent, defensive ends. Bosa and what's his name got traded out there. I think that they're going to play really well and they're going to beat the Packers, even though they played well. But moving on, this is a matchup that is like veteran versus rookie, right? And I know they're not playing against each other, meaning like you're not throwing against Lamar Jackson or throwing against C.J. Stroud, but these are the two players in the matchup. I want to see what Lamar Jackson does. He's been off now for weeks and weeks and weeks. And like you said, the Texans had to battle back into the playoffs. And they're getting, they're not getting the rest, but they're getting action on the field. They're growing. They're building morale. I'm really excited to watch this game. I think they're both going to play well, but I don't know. It's very interesting you said that. Someone's going to be upset. I like the 49ers. And then even though I like the Texans, I think the Ravens will pull this out. I think the following week is going to be very interesting.
I'm going to give a really hot take here. I think there'll be one upset. I think the Niners, and I'm kind of joking about the hot take, I think the Niners are more susceptible as a team to being upset, but I think the Texans are the team that are more likely to make the upset. Does that make sense?
I agree 1,000%. I agree 1,000%.
Texans are more of a team that could be the one that upsets a team, but I think the 49ers are more susceptible to an upset. So it'll be really interesting. I think that concern, and I'm just telling you, you remember I said, don't do it, John Harbaugh. Don't do it. The last time you rested your starters, you got beat in your first game.
Well, now,
a couple years ago.
If they key in on Lamar Jackson,
you rested your starters and you got beat because they weren't ready to play 3 weeks later.
If they focus on Lamar Jackson, right, and they play, their spy defense, Lamar Jackson kind of gets locked down. Very hard to do, by the way. I think that makes it where you're looking at Odell Beckham and you got Flowers at the receiver position. I don't think Odell Beckham is a big factor in this game.
It's their defense, dude.
Right.
It's the Texans. It's the Ravens defense. That's the game. Can the rookie move the ball on the Ravens defense? If he can't, then this game's over. I don't think it's so much about what Lamar Jackson can do. Lamar Jackson's played well, but he's played with basically carefree because he's got a defense that just shuts the other team down, right?
People have been talking about that. That's why Josh Allen became more of a conversation, MVP conversation, because they're like, listen, Lamar Jackson, you're great, but you show up in great positions. Look, I like Lamar Jackson. He deserves it too. I'm just saying, yeah, I think Josh Allen has had a lot of grit this year, and he showed a lot of potential. And I think that's very interesting that Lamar Jackson has been put in really good situations, and the defense will be big. I agree with you, though. I think the Texans are the team that could possibly have the upset if they can shut down Lamar Jackson. But I'm going to move on here to Justin Fields, because the conversation right now, Brent, is Justin Fields could potentially become an Atlanta Falcon player. Talk about that. What do you think? The draft pick trade, what do you got on Justin Fields going to the Falcons?
Yeah, I was kind of shocked by this. ESPN reported yesterday that the Bears could get the eighth overall pick from the Falcons for Justin Fields. Here's what I would say. First of all, if I were the Bears GM, I would accept that before we hung up the phone and take that. And second of all, if I were the Falcons, I actually think that's a good trade, right? I think the jury is out on Justin Fields, but I do think that, and I can't remember what pick he was drafted. He was definitely drafted in the first round, probably top 10. But, so giving up a top 10 pick for a guy who's been in the league now 3 years, I think there's some value in that. He's gone through those growing pains. It's what we've been talking about with Jordan Love. It's what we've been talking about even Mason Rudolph. These guys need 3-4 years to play and to get developed. And now you get a fresh scenery. So people will laugh at that and said, an eighth pick for Justin Fields is way too much. No. I think it's good value for the Falcons, and I think it helps the Falcons out. And then on the flip side, I think Justin Fields gets a fresh start and the Bears get a fresh start. And by the way, if you have the first, 8th, and 9th pick in the draft, 3 top 10 picks or 3 top 9 picks, you got to go get a new coach. You got to go beg Harbaugh. You got to just be like, Jim, I got you 3 top 10 picks. Come here. They're yours. Here's a gift, a signing bonus, and 3 first-round top 10 picks. They're yours. Come here. Come play. Come coach with us.
Hey,
I certainly wouldn't let Eberflus get those picks, right? I would go get somebody else new, Belichick, Harbaugh, somebody exciting, Vrabel, and go let them have some fun in the first round of the draft. That's what I would do. I think this would be a great trade. I went to schools just outside of Chicago, so I have an affinity a little bit for the Bears to be successful, and I think this would be exciting for Bears fans if this happened.
And I just noticed, Brent, we're making an adjustment here to the title because we were collabing here talking about Dallas Cowboys and the Packers. And it should be on here with the Eagles obviously being demolished by the Bucs, which is being adjusted right now for people watching this right now. We're making that adjustment for you to see. But, Brent, listen, Justin Fields is one of those guys where
Would you make that trade, Brandon? Sorry to cut you off. Would you make that trade? If you're the Bears, do you take the 8th overall pick for Justin Fields?
I think
Brandon.
No. Here's why. I like Justin Fields.
I would.
I like Justin Fields, and I honestly don't understand for the life of me why. Okay, for the life of me why they move on. So I know in the NFL right now, you got to move on. It's what have you done for me lately? Yeah. But Justin Fields was their quarterback, and I don't think they had around him what they wanted for any quarterback to be that great yet. I think a guy like Caleb Williams coming in, Justin Fields, I think Caleb is great from USC. I just don't think he's, all that much better than Justin Fields. I think that if you make any trades, you should be getting players to build around Justin Fields. Maybe you go to Justin Fields and you say, look, here's your current contract. Let's work on that. If we work on your contract, maybe we don't give you that massive extension. Maybe we don't give you that amount of money, but we use some of that money and we go get you some star players around you to help. Let's bring the playoffs back to Chicago. Let's start winning. I think they have to get players to win, and Justin Fields is just not going to be able to do it by himself. He's got some talent, but I don't think another quarterback is just going to do the trick.
That's why you make this trade. Because here's what you get. You're gonna have to pay Justin Fields $40 million a year or $50 million a year keep him in like a year. Like that's incredible. That kills you. And he's not ready and he's not at that level yet. So here's why you make this trade. Because there's 4 or 5 good quarterbacks in the draft and you have 3 picks in the top 10, which means you don't have to get Caleb Williams. If you think Drake May or Michael Penix Jr. or Bo Nix or Jalen, the guy that won the Heisman, is better, then you can take him 8 or 9, right? And then you can get an offensive lineman or Marvin Harrison Jr. or another stud defensive player, right? It gives you more. You can get 3 young studs in the first round. I think you do that. That's what if you can get the 8th overall pick for Justin Fields, you take it. That's just my opinion. But you don't give up more than that. But that's what you do.
Yeah. It's sad, but Justin Fields, they are looking at moving him, obviously, out of Chicago. I wouldn't do it. But let's move on, Brent, to Peacock, because apparently Peacock, this is the place to watch sports in the playoffs. I'm like, why would you do that? I'm not knocking the NFL before anybody reports anything. The NFL does what they do. Peacock, that's their collaboration. I'm sure there's a financial.
Brandon, you can knock the NFL. You're not going to get.
Saying,
you're not going to
get
canceled.
The point of this,
Brandon, you can have an opinion. You're not going to get canceled if you knock the NFL.
Well, people don't understand.
Tell them
they're paying enough money for YouTube TV. You're paying enough money for regular basic cable. You're paying enough money for all these other things. And they're like, hey, better download Peacock. It's like, geez, then you got Prime. And it's like, put the games on the regular TV so all these guys can watch sports, all these girls can watch sports, and they can watch the playoffs. Don't make people try to chase it around and try to do a deal. If anything, just put Peacock on the damn screen and say, sponsored by Peacock. Go download Peacock. Anybody that downloads Peacock right now will give 2 people $1,000. Like, do something like that. Don't go watch it on Peacock. I thought that was the worst. Now that you want me to just explain it. It was the worst, dumbest thing that people can do. People don't want to go to Peacock and figure out how to watch a playoff game. I put on, for Prime, when the game comes on Thursdays, I can't find the game. I'm like, where's the game? Where's the game? Like, shit, can't find it. It's not on. And I go, oh, it's on Prime. And you're making people rush home from work, from the office, get their kids, take them to practice, bring them home, get them in the shower, do homework, put the game on, and you're getting all confused. You're ruining your ratings. Just put it on TV, regular cable, let people enjoy the freaking playoffs.
NFL is the one thing where people will figure it out. Yes, you're right. And in business, you want to create a low barrier of entry for your consumer. You want to make it as easy as possible for them to use your product, right? That's what we strive to do every day on My NIL Pay. How can we make this as easy as possible for people to use, right? The NFL isn't My NIL Pay. Everybody wants to use the NFL and everyone wants to see their team play. So guess what? If they don't find it, they're going to figure out how to find it. They lose no audience on that. Here's the thing. Peacock got blasted on social media because they were bragging about how this is the largest streamed event in the history of the internet. 23 million people tuned in for the Chiefs-Dolphins game using Peacock. And I suspect their subscriber base went way up, which is why they did this. And you can complain about it, Brandon, but here's the bottom line. The NFL allowed them to do this, and they allowed them to do this by taking the $1 billion or whatever they paid them to do it. Right? The NFL could have said, no, we're not going to take your money. We're not going to let you do a live stream. You got to put it on NBC. No. The NFL said, we'll gladly take your money. And so they did. And it worked for Peacock because they got 23 million people to download and pay $5.99 a month to watch the app for one football game.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a great business decision.
Listen, I know when you're looking at a business decision, I just think it's another slap in the face toward the NFL. Like, oh, good job, you did this. I just think NFL is one of the best things to watch in all of the country, football in all the country. And then you're like, hey, you want to watch the playoffs? Go download Peacock. It's like, dude, I watch football all year long as a fan from home, a fan in the seats, a fan in the stadium. And it's like, it's not a pay-per-view. It's not like the Super Bowl, you got to download on Peacock or watch the Super Bowl live here. It's $100. Watch the, okay, you want to charge $99 to get the Super Bowl? Okay,
Brandon,
people are doing Super Bowl parties anyway. But for the playoff games, I don't like it.
Brandon, you and I should one day on the show discuss all the streaming channels that we have. You have kids, so I'm sure you have lots of streaming channels too. But I got more channels than you can name. If you got to pay for it, I got it. I got
Disney Plus.
I got Hulu. I got Prime. I got Peacock. I got Paramount. I got Apple TV Plus. I got Netflix. I got Prime. I mean, those are the ones that Stars, Showtime. You name it, I got it. I got kids, and they want to watch everything, and they go, I got to see this show, Power Rangers, or whatever the hell it is. And I got to buy another streaming service, right? So it didn't bother me because I already had Peacock.
Listen, and you're right about that. And look, I apologize because live on the show right now, I have the actual title about the Eagles collapsing to the Bucs. I apologize. It says about the Cowboys. We're going to fix it right now. But listen, before we do that, Brent, let's move on to something you want to talk about, and that is Messi. So I'll let you handle that conversation. What happened? What did he win with FIFA as the best player? What happened?
This is pretty cool. Lionel Messi, and we've talked soccer a little bit on here. We talked about Kylian Mbappe, who's part of this story as well. Lionel Messi won his third FIFA The Best Men's Award on Monday. This goes to the best player. So he beat Erling Haaland and PSG, Paris's team, forward Kylian Mbappe for the prize. This is the third time he's won, second back-to-back. So how did he win this award, which is really cool? They do FIFA does an international award for best player, not just for the league, but for the world, right? And so Messi played for Paris Saint-Germain and won the championship, the Liga 1 title, and then in the summer moved to Inter Miami, right, where he played in the MLS, and they won the Leagues Cup. And he came into the league, and he was like single-handedly winning games for Miami, and obviously all the attention. So he won this award for the best soccer player in the world this year. But I think it's cool because he got it for not just accomplishments overseas, but accomplishments in the U.S., which you got to think is cool too, Brandon. That helps shine a light on the MLS and U.S. soccer as well, that a player in the MLS won the top award. So congratulations to Lionel Messi. And I think that's really cool.
Brent, I love that you brought that up because we haven't talked about soccer that much, and we should, because soccer across the country is really big, and other countries as well, international. It's huge.
The most popular sport in the world.
Yeah.
Soccer is the world's number one sport.
Correct. The country, American football. Yeah. Internationally or globally, soccer. So we have to bring that up more importantly. And he makes a lot of money. So before we get off, let's compare apples to apples, oranges to oranges here. Soccer players like Messi, who would you compare him to? The LeBron James of the world. But financially, what are we looking at here?
Yeah, I believe the top players overseas, and I didn't look this up. I wish you would have given me a heads up on this. The largest contract in soccer is equal to or larger than the largest sports contracts for LeBron James and Patrick Mahomes.
And they're guaranteed, like basketball, like baseball. Football is one of the only sports, really, where you're like SOL, like, oh well, you're hurt, you're gone. That's it.
I'll give you an idea. Cristiano Ronaldo made $260 million in 2023. There you go.
In 2023?
In 2023, $260 million. Top 5 richest according to Forbes.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's the whole thing, right? Like, yeah, you have endorsement
Messi,
deals.
$135 million. $65 million from his Miami contract and $70 million from other deals. So that's including sponsorship deals as well.
Well,
but yeah.
Listen, we just finished up with Messi, obviously here, but as we close off today, Howard, pull up today. I want to give a shout out today, actually, to my son Brandon It is his 7th birthday.
All right, Brandon Jr.
This man loves airplanes, loves jets, so that's where he's at in his photo there on a jet. Loves to get on, and he's a big believer, and the kid loves airplanes. When they take off, we watch them all the time.
Happy birthday, Brandon Jr. Happy birthday.
Yeah, I'm sure you appreciate it. He's watching right now. I'm sure he's watching the other room. And when I'm not here, he puts it on. He types on the computer all the time. And then I have a clip here of him as well. One of my best memories is him and I on a roller coaster, and I'm acting like I'm scared as hell, and he just doesn't care. Look at it. He thinks it's hysterical that I'm screaming. So he loves it, man. Like, he's all about
Are you holding the phone while you're on the roller coaster?
Watch. And the kid loves it. We gotta let him go around
classic.
Real quick.
Where is that at? Is that like
Disney
Iron
World.
Mountain? Is that Iron Mountain in Disney World? I like
the
it.
freaking. Here it is. We'll check him out.
Yeah, that's Thunder Mountain. Thunder Mountain.
Watch
That's
him.
it.
Watch his face. Look.
I love it.
I love it. I mean, happy birthday.
I love it.
Number 7. Happy birthday, Brandon. We love you. We're so happy to have you. And this kid has brought so many loving memories to my life. And so, happy birthday, Brandon. And we're going to celebrate him today. So, Brent, listen, I'm so glad to have you on here. And again, I apologize to people watching. The title's going to be fixed right now. Eagles dominated by the Bucs. We're going to update that as soon as we get off the live. Brent, so great to have you. Every day, 10 to 11. It's been great. You got to be happy with the Bills won. And I'm pretty sure you're happy how things are turning out right now. It doesn't really bother you.
Things are going great in the world of Brent Chapman. The Lions won. Bills won. We'll see how it continues. I get really nervous. We'll talk more about Patrick Mahomes coming to Buffalo. I got some really great stats on that, which you're going to love, but we'll save that when we get a little bit closer to this matchup.
You got it. Thanks for having me, Brent. We'll see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
Thanks, Brandon.
Guys, thanks for tuning into the Brandon Mason Show. We'd love to have you on here every single day, 10 to 11. We're going to dive into all the playoff games. We hit all sports, football, baseball, basketball, tennis, volleyball, hockey, everything you can imagine, soccer, every single sport. We do our best to bring it on for you live every single day, 10 to 11. And like I always say, enjoy every day. And obviously, again, happy birthday to Brandon. We love you. Happy 7th birthday, guys. Everybody watching, we will see you soon tomorrow, 10 a.m. Until next time.